Welcome, it's Denome. Today's market update is going to be a very interesting one because I will show you something that you probably haven't seen anywhere else, some insights that are valuable. So let's just jump right into the action and go from there. And before I show you basically my predictions going further, let's talk about where we are right now, where we came from. So in my last update, we were around this price here. And I said, if you get Bitcoin at $60,000 or $61,000, that's going to be an amazing buying opportunity because we were able to recognize this channel here, as well as when we go to the 4-hour time frame, we were actually able to find out a divergence on the RSI. So the RSI, I cannot draw it right now. Okay, let's get it. So the RSI made a higher low here, while the price made a lower low. That basically gave us a momentum shift, and that signaled that the price is probably going to head higher. Also, I said that even though there was the Iran-Israel attack, that things look very, very scary, but by the end of the week, it's probably going to happen that the United States will pass some sort of foreign aid bill for Ukraine or Israel or Iran or whatever. And that's exactly what happened here. So $95 billion were given to Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. And obviously, the insiders knew this was going to pass because a lot of the legislators took the Ukraine flags to the Senate and were waving the flag there. So whatever that happened. And Israel actually made a retaliation attack against Iran as well. But I don't know exactly what's the extent of the damage, and I don't know if Iran is going to retaliate again. Some reports say that the attack was actually orchestrated by USA in junction with Iran. Basically, they made a very, very minor, small attack, and then they blamed it on Israel, but it was orchestrated by USA, basically a de-escalation attempt that, okay, now Israel made the attack, but it didn't really do anything, so now we can just all call quits. So that may be one explanation what happened, and now things are stable again, and markets have rallied since then. So for Bitcoin, we went to $67,000, and here we can draw this trend line here, and you can see that we simply went to the top of it, and then we had a break to the downside here. And now the question is obviously, where do we go from here? So personally, I'm leaning towards bullishness. So let me actually explain why. There's a couple of scenarios that could happen, and I will give you both scenarios, and both of them are basically bullish, but let me draw it out for you. So this is very important trend line. Obviously, when we go above this trend line, that's when we are in the bull zone. But there's another one, a leading indicator, which is the RSI momentum indicator. So let me give you a couple of examples how this works. So we can draw a trend line on the RSI, and once this breaks to the upside, that's when when we are in the bull zone. And this is the most recent time when this actually happened. And then we got this very nice move to the upside from basically $40,000 to $74,000. Very, very nice move. Another one we can use this for is, let's say, during this time here, Bitcoin had a breakout on this spike here, and this would have been a decent time to actually buy Bitcoin as well. It showed a momentum shift. Another one was here, not as great of a signal. It kind of showed like a false signal, but we can use the same peak to actually draw it like this. And if you were able to get Bitcoin here, that would have been a quite good time to actually buy Bitcoin. Another one is if we take from here, this is a very, very long time. It was a long bear market. But once this actually broke to the upside here, even though it immediately broke to the downside, it gave us a momentum shift signal, and then we got the confirmation here at this very, 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 very bottom at $17,000. So you can use these trend lines on the RSI to basically find out when the momentum shifts. And now when we take a look at the momentum indicator RSI, you can draw a couple of lines here. And depending how you draw it, you are either in the bull zone now or not yet. So let me show you. So you can take this top line here, connect it with this top. And when you do that, it aligns with this top beautifully, and you can see we are in the bull zone already. So if you are part of this gang, then congratulations. Now it's time to actually flip 100% bullish. But if you are in the other camp, which draws it from this peak and connects it with this peak, then unfortunately we are not in the bull zone yet. So I don't know which one is correct here, but in both scenarios, let's draw another supporting trend line here, which is connecting this bottom to this bottom here. Obviously, we would not like to see a crash on this price, let's say a lower low on the RSI anymore. That would be the optimal situation. But even if that happens, I'm not too worried, but because it could happen. I'll show you soon another example where it did happen and it didn't break anything. But let me take this out now. Let me take this out now. But this gives us a timeline. So basically by, let's say, May 4th, May 5th, May 6th or 7th, this comes to an end, and Bitcoin has to make a decision if it wants to crash or we actually go to the bull zone again. So a massive move to the upside is coming. So this is giving us a timeline, so you have to be prepared for that. I just want to warn you already. So that's already value from this video. But now if we actually break to the downside, I already basically laid out the bull side here, let's say 80 and 90k Bitcoin. The downside here is we do something similar like we did during this time. So let me draw it for you. So these bottoms actually connect here, and then we had a crash from the bottom here. But when that happened, that was actually a very good buying opportunity. I probably wouldn't have bought immediately because I would have wanted to see if we actually make a lower low, but we did not make a lower low. Anyway, this was an amazing time to actually buy. And when we actually flipped back to bull zone, that was the confirmation like, hey, wait a minute, this looks very good still. So even if we go lower, it doesn't immediately mean that everything is now in the bear zone. It could mean that, but it doesn't immediately mean that, because we do have a lot of support here on about $48,000, $49,000. So if we go to, let's say, 50,000 Bitcoin, that's when personally I will be flipping and buying Bitcoin. So even if we crash from this, I don't think it's absolutely bad. But overall, I do believe that we are headed to the upside. That's my personal belief. Obviously, I could be wrong. So now let's actually take a look at some of the fundamentals behind the Bitcoin price. First is, let's take a look at Tether USDT market cap. And this one is quite interesting because when we take a look at it just a week ago, here we had about $110 billion in USDT. But right now, we already have almost $500 million more USDT. This means that people want to have money in Tether, in crypto markets. So this is, in my opinion, quite good. So this hasn't turned bearish, at least yet. So let me actually show you the market caps. Let's take a look at all of the stablecoin market caps. You can see that this is growing here, but when it actually turned bearish, that was basically the bear signal here when this happened. So let's see how things continue from here. But as of now, it's still growing, so that's good. Another one is we can take a look at the Bitcoin ETF holdings. And this one, unfortunately, is just going sideways. We are currently not seeing any trend on this chart here. So for the last 6 weeks, it's just gone sideways. So nothing interesting here. But then we go over to CryptoQuant. Probably in my next update, I will use Santiment again. But there's something interesting in CryptoQuant. Obviously, it's nice that Bitcoin is taken out of exchanges. This shows us a interest in accumulating Bitcoin. Also, Ethereum staking rate is still going upwards, even though it has slowed down considerably, but it is going upwards. That's very good. But the key number here to look at is this one here. So when we take a look at the funding rates of all exchanges, you can see a red dot here. So when we are in a bull market, this red dot clearly means that when we see a red dot, that is probably a bottom signal. So when that happens, it means that the long leverage that we have seen before is basically flushed out. And this is, believe it or not, a good signal. So let me explain why. It is a good signal because when the funding rate is positive, it means that you have to pay money every single day simply by holding a long position on Bitcoin. And if you are using leverage, that payment that you have to pay is coinciding with the leverage that you are using. If you're using, let's say, 10x leverage, then you have to make the payment. The payment is also 10 times higher. So when you see an extreme positive funding, it means it's very expensive to keep holding longs. It's basically deterring people from longing Bitcoin. And when it's negative, you are actually given money for having a long position on Bitcoin. And this also means that when you have a long position on Bitcoin and the funding is very, very positive, you are looking to exit your position because you cannot sustain the long position for much longer. Also, new people don't exactly want to open long positions either because they can obviously see it's very, very expensive, and most people are already longing Bitcoin, so who else is gonna buy? Nobody. So and another point here is that when you have a long position open, the only way to close it is with a market sell order. So you have to sell Bitcoin to close the position. So that creates sell pressure. So, but now, since the funding rate is zero or basically non-existent, that means that all of the leverage is out, which means that everybody who wanted to close a long position have now closed their long positions, which means that we are basically at a fresh table or a fresh start again. So if we are in a bull market, this is a definite buy signal in my opinion. Obviously, if this is a bear market, then we could even go lower here. But even in bear markets, the negative funding rate usually means some sort of a local bottom as well. Not always, but in a bull market, this is a clear signal that it is a local bottom. And if we get more red signals, then obviously I may change my opinion. But as of now, this is still a good buying opportunity in my opinion. So those are just some of the fundamentals going in the background. Another one, this is basically an update on the previous thing that I made. I don't know if you heard, but there was going to be a SPN Forum, and this was supposed to be in May, about 4th. This would have given us a very good, let's say, buying signal, because this is for BRICS plus countries. And in this event, they invited the business leaders, the country leaders, all of these people with a lot of money from Saudi Arabia, UAE, India, Russia, China, these countries, Brazil, and so on and so forth. But they were talking about cross-border finance and blockchain. They were talking about Web3 gaming. They were going to talk about economic shifts with blockchain and all of these things. So this would have been a great, let's say, buying opportunity, but this event was postponed to January 2025. So unfortunately, this is not happening. So this is, let's say, not so great news. I would have hoped that it would actually happen, but no, it got cancelled. I don't know why it got cancelled. I didn't look up on it, but anyway, it was cancelled. So it kind of takes a little bit of my bullishness away. So anyway, that's basically the situation we are in right now. So we may break it to the upside or not. So basically the best thing to do right now is basically wait out and see once this trend line is broken, this trend line is broken, and then make a decision to get back into the market in full force if you want to get back in. I mean, that's basically my take here, is that even though I'm bullish, for your portfolio, the best thing to do is basically wait out the breakout and then get into Bitcoin. Because if we go to Bitcoin 50K, obviously you would have wanted to wait until the price is there and then buy Bitcoin instead of buying at $4,000 it is now. So that's my take on Bitcoin. Wait out, wait the breakout, whichever way we go, and then get back into the market and then buy again. That's it for this video. Hope you liked it, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks and bye-bye.